Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to cover the following topics. So we will start off with wave function collapse. Then we will cover the operators in quantum mechanics. There are many operators that we are going to deal with, but in this video we will cover only two, the position and the momentum operator, and the last but not the least, the uncertainty principle. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start off with wave function collapse. So there are wave function representing a particle in the system or number of particles in the system that we are going to study. And the wave function is always the superposition of basic eigenstates. What that means is that it is linear combination of various basic eigenstates. So suppose there are eigenstates phi i's and ci's are the constant coefficients of corresponding basic eigenstate. So it is summation or linear combination of those states, and it gives the total wave function of a particle. Now, so again here the ci's are constant coefficient that can be a complex number, and phi I represents the basic eigenstates. So it, in simple words, phi this wave function psi is a linear combination of sines and cosines. Well, it doesn't have to be sines and cosines, it can be any combination of other functions too, but this linear combination and the superposition of various basic states is the same. Also keep in mind that this wave function psi represents a particle that is yet to be observed. So we have to be careful while using this word observed, because in quantum mechanics it refers to an experiment where the observer is looking for or detecting a particle's position, because like classically the particles aren't big enough to be seen by naked eyes, so obviously we need a detector to detect them or observe them. So observation is an experiment by which the particle is detected. So let's get back to our discussion on psi. So psi is a wave function of a particle before observation. We just know that what are the constraints on the system, like suppose there is a particle in the system, what is its mass and what are the potential energy function around it, the potential energy function V. So with this information we can get the wave function of a particle by solving this Schrödinger's equation, which says I h bar dou psi by dou t equal to minus h bar square by 2m dou square dou 2 psi by dou x square plus v psi. So we know the mass of the particle and we know the potential energy of function applied on that. So solution to this equation will give the wave function. Okay, so now we will make a measurement for finding the particle's position, and we find that the particle is at point T. It has some definite position. So before measurement, the wave function was superposition of various eigenstates, and after measurement, it spikes up at point T. So this transformation is explainable because before measurement we didn't know where the particle actually is located at, and so it was obvious to have a broad spread instead of a narrow spike, and after measurement we find that it is at point T, which is a definite position. So if the wave function obviously represents the narrow spike, and this phenomenon of discontinuous transformation is called as wave function collapse. I called it an discontinuous transformation because it happens immediately after the measurement is made. Now pause the video for a second and think, why would the wave function collapse, and that too in a discontinuous manner? So that's it for wave function collapse. So the next topic is about operators, and we can ask ourselves a question that what does it really mean to find a position of a particle using its wave function. So it simply means that we are finding its expectation value of the position, not really the where it exactly is. So whatever value we get from the expectation value will be a probabilistic value, because quantum mechanics has the statistical interpretation. So for finding the expectation, so finding its position, we will need the expectation value. So we can mathematically write it as expectation value of position is minus infinity to infinity x psi x of t sine mod square integrated with respect to x. So this is what we have learned in our previous video. The psi is a wave function which is dependent on both position and time t. We can write the same expression also as x into psi star psi dx. Here both psi star and psi are function of position and time. So what exactly does it mean? Like I first detect the particle, the wave function collapses and I get its position. In previous example it was at time t. So I repeat the same process of detection again and again and take the average of all the values, and whatever value I get, it will not be an expectation value, because the first measurement will collapse the wave function in a discontinuous fashion, and every measurement made after that it will give the same result. So it doesn't make any sense of calling it an expectation value. Instead we can have the state psi for many particles in the various systems. So consider there are several systems, each containing a identical particle in identical constraints. So all of them have same particle with same constraints, and we are supposed to find the position of particle in each of the individual system. So whatever the values we get from this system, we will take average of that, and that will be the expectation value of the position. So like all of them have this wave function psi, all of them will have the potential energy function v, and the mass of the particle is m. So whatever wave function we get from whatever expectation value we get from this system, we will take average of that, and that will be the expectation value. And since this wave function of each individual particle is function of both position and time, so it obviously changes with time. So our expectation value for position must also change with time, because the expectation value of position is also dependent on time. So let's see what we get if we take the derivative of this expectation value. So we will write the expression again. Expectation value is integral from minus infinity to infinity x, and this time we will use the second expression psi star psi dx. Okay, so let's take the time derivative of this expectation value d by dt. So in previous video we discussed how we can take this derivative sign d by dt So in previous video we discussed how we can take this derivative inside integral by using Leibniz integral rule. So we will directly take the partial derivative with respect to time of psi star psi dx. Since we are derivating with respect to time, we can take x because it will be a constant, treated as a constant. So integral from minus infinity to infinity x dou by dou t of psi star and psi. We can apply now the chain rule and write the expression as integral from minus infinity to infinity. So d by dt. So first we will take the derivative of psi star, partial derivative of psi star with respect to time, and then multiplied with the wave function psi, and then psi star into partial derivative of psi with respect to time. Everything integrated with respect to dx. Here I rewrote the expression again. So here we need to find these unknown values of dou psi star by dou t and dou psi by dou t. So after we get them, we will resubstitute and solve this integral. So how do we get these values? So Schrodinger's equation says IH by dou psi, IH bar into dou psi by dou t is equal to minus h square by 2n dou 2 psi by dou x square plus v psi. So you can see that this term is here. It is what we want. So we will just divide the entire expression by IH. So we get IH bar upon 1 by IH bar plus V psi into 1 upon IH bar. So we get dou psi by dou t is equal to h bar cancels with this, and multiplying numerator and denominator with I. In denominator we get I square. So I square is minus 1. So minus 1 gives us positive value of I h, it cancelled, upon 2m dou square psi dou 2 psi by dou x square, plus here we can again multiply numerator and denominator by I. The denominator gives I square is minus 1. So in the end we get I by h v psi, and you can check this for yourself. Do the calculation on your own. You will get this expression for dou psi by dou t. And to get dou psi star by dou t, you don't have to repeat everything. You just take the complex conjugate. So dou psi star by dou t. In this case, you will replace all the complex parts by its additive inverse. So plus I will become minus I h by 2n. Everything remains same. Dou 2 psi by dou x square. Here plus I by h v psi. Okay, so here we are taking time derivative of psi star with respect to t. Psi star, we are taking derivative of psi star, so here also we will write psi star because it's a different wave function. It's complex conjugate, but it's different. Okay, so we will now substitute these values in here. Okay, so let's substitute the value. So it makes d by dt of expectation value of position equal to minus infinity to infinity x into, so psi star dou psi star by dou t was minus IH by 2m dou 2 psi by dou x square plus I by h dou v into psi. Everything is multiplied, so this is a conjugate of psi, so we will multiply it with psi plus substitute the second value, so psi star into plus IH bar by 2m dou 2 psi by dou x square minus I by h bar v psi dx. Okay, so you can see that here some quantities are common. So we have the multiplication of psi star and psi here, and here also this term has multiplication of psi and psi star, but these signs are different, so we will cancel these terms out and we are left with integration from minus infinity to infinity x into minus IH bar by 2m dou 2 psi star upon dou x square multiplied with psi plus take the constant out, so IH by 2m psi star into dou 2 psi by dou x square dx. Okay, we can again take this common out and write everything as IH by 2m minus infinity to infinity x into, okay, so we can write the expression. First we will write this term because it has positive sign, so psi star dou 2 psi by dou x square minus this term dou 2 psi star by dou x square into psi dx. Okay, now we can make some modifications in this term right here. We can let me show IH bar by 2m x. You can write it as dou by dou x of the term psi star dou psi by dou x minus dou psi star by dou x into psi dx. So if you take the partial derivative of this function, you will get this value. So it makes it easier to solve the integral. Nothing special. We will solve this integral by using the technique integration by parts. So we will first integrate this function and keep it later for differentiation. Keep the x for differentiation. So it gives minus IH by 2m integral, so first integrate this and write x as it is. So integration of this will be psi star dou psi by dou x minus dou psi star by dou x into psi, because integration of a differential will simply give the function itself, so we kept this function for integration minus so this will be applied with limit minus infinity, and again integral from minus infinity to infinity. Then we will take the differentiation of this function x into integration of this function dou by dou x of the entire expression. So that will simply again give psi star dou psi by dou x minus dou psi star by dou x into psi dx. Okay, dx. So when we apply the limits on this wave function, I discussed in the previous videos that as x goes to infinity, this wave function must go to 0, because if it doesn't goes to 0, the wave function will be non-normalizable. So for our concern, the wave function and its derivative obviously must go to 0. So this entire expression becomes 0, and the other part, we can simplify the other part as, let me rewrite everything. So this part goes to 0, and we are left with this constant minus IH by 2m. So derivative of x is simply 1, so we just need to take care of this integral. Integration from minus infinity to infinity, psi star into dou psi by dou x minus dou psi star by dou x into psi dx. If you take look at the second part of this integral, we will just solve this one first. So integration of dou psi star by dou x into psi dx. So if we just solve this part by using integration by parts, so we will treat this function for integration and this one we will save it for differentiation. So first we will integrate this. So first term gives psi star, because we integrated this function, into psi written as it is. Apply the limits on this, then minus integral of this function, so which is psi star, and differentiation of this with respect to x, so dou psi by dou x dx. Okay, so yeah, by definition the product of psi star and psi both at infinity are 0, so the first term itself is 0 directly, and the second term is minus psi star dou psi by dou x dx. Okay, so but solving this second part, we just got the first part itself again, psi star into dou psi by dou x, psi star into dou psi by dou x. So the function, so the entire expression now can be written as IH bar by 2n integral from minus infinity to infinity, and we will just write this expression twice. So 2 into psi star dou psi by dou x dx. Okay, so this 2 will get cancelled and we are left with the overall expression, that is minus IH by m minus infinity to infinity psi star dou psi by dou x dx. Finally, we can say that expectation value of a position is derivative of expectation value of position with respect to time is this expression right here. So I will rewrite it. So this is the expression. Now in classical mechanics, velocity is time derivative of the position. So velocity is dx by dt, time derivative of a position. If the particle but like in quantum mechanics, we are looking for expectation value of a position. So if the particle doesn't have a definite position, that can be some discrete value, it would mean that it can't have a well-defined velocity too. Like there is some probability in finding the particle. So same goes to velocity also. The velocity will also have some probabilistic value. So we don't really have the velocity of particle in quantum mechanics. Instead, we say that we are finding the rate of change of the expectation value of position itself, and this quantity is analogous to velocity in classical mechanics. So we can write everything as expectation value of velocity is d by dt of expectation value of position. So we can make use of this quantity v to find the position by simply using the formula. The expectation value of position p is mass into expectation value of the velocity, and the expression is m into this quantity minus IH by m minus infinity to infinity psi star dou psi by dou x dx. Okay, so m cancels, so we are left with expectation value of position is minus IH bar integral from minus infinity to infinity psi star dou psi by dou x dx. Okay, so this is what we get, the expectation value of position, and we also have expectation value of momentum, and we also have expectation value of position. So if I rewrite everything, expectation value of position will be minus infinity to infinity x dou psi star into psi dx, and expectation value of momentum is minus I h integral from minus infinity to infinity. We can write expectation value of position as this, and momentum as minus I h bar integral from minus infinity to infinity psi star into dou psi by dou x dx. We can again rearrange this equation. So let me rearrange this expectation value as minus infinity to infinity. First I will write psi star, then in square brackets x, then psi dx, and same for this momentum. So expectation value of momentum is, we will take the constant inside. So first I will write this term psi star, then in square brackets the constant term I h bar, then the derivative part dou by dou x and psi. The reason I wrote this separately because we know that derivative is an operator. So there are many operators like derivative, the integral sign, then there are some summations, and there are many operators like in mathematics. So this quantity right here makes it an operator. So we can say in this case position is an operator, x position is an operator, and in this case the position momentum p is an operator, and we will denote these quantities as x hat and p hat. So momentum operator is minus I h bar dou by dou x, and the position operator is as it is, can be written as it is. So this operator applies on some function. So in this case it is applying on the wave function psi, and in this case same, the wave function psi. So these are the two basic operators that we have found so far, and from these basic quantities we can derive operators for other functions too. Like if we were to find the operator for kinetic energy, or if we want to find the expectation value for kinetic energy, we can write it as, so in classical mechanics kinetic energy can be written as T is equal to half mv square. We can also write it as half m square v square by m. So this will give half p square by m, where p is m into v, the momentum. So same way we can write half momentum expectation value of momentum squared upon m. Now we have the expression for expectation value of kinetic energy. So we will now use the definition of operator to find the expectation value, the final expectation value. So we will write minus infinity to infinity, first psi star, then then we will get done with constant. So then we will use the function momentum squared. So here the momentum operator squared means minus I h bar dou by dou x squared operated on psi dx. So this is how we make use of operators to find other quantities. Here the kinetic energy, expectation value of kinetic energy was dependent on p, so we just squared the operator p and applied it between psi star and psi. So overall it will give the expectation value for kinetic energy. So let me just simplify those things. So we will take the constants out and minus sign also. So minus IH by 2m and integrated from minus infinity to infinity psi star into, so here the derivative operator is raised to the power 2, so dou 2 by dou x square operated on psi dx. So this is expression for expectation value of kinetic energy. Like this we can get expression for any other quantity in quantum mechanics. So because all of them are either dependent on x or p, either they are dependent on some position or the momentum. Everything can be derived from these two quantities. So in general we can write an expectation value of an observable. An observable is denoted as q. What is an observable, that we will discuss in the later part of this series, in third chapter maybe. So an observable is something that can be expressed in terms of position and momentum. So we will learn about it in detail. For now, just keep in mind that q represents observable, and it can be represented as function of either position or the momentum or both. So expectation value for an observable is defined as integral from minus infinity to infinity psi star into q, which is dependent on x and p. These are the operators operated on psi dx. And yeah, we are done with operators too. So that's it for operators. In later part of the series we will learn about various operators like Hamiltonian. So that might be in second chapter. So the next topic of our discussion is uncertainty principle. So you must have heard of this topic. For now we will just stick to the basics and what uncertainty principle has to say. Suppose we were to predict a position of a particle in future. So we are looking for particle's position and its velocity. What will be the velocity and position of a particle in future? So for that we need to find its position and velocity in the present. If we know its position and velocity in the present, we can predict the future by using the kinematics equation. And this works for classical mechanics, like we can determine the position of various planets in future because we know their present position and their velocity. So with kinematics equation we can predict their future position and velocity. But in quantum mechanics the particles are small in terms of size. So whatever like to find its position we need to shine a light on those particles or electromagnetic wave per se. Light means any kind of electromagnetic wave. Some of the waves of the light might be scattered by the particle. So if the particle is here and we shine the light on it, electromagnetic wave, some of it will get scattered in different direction, and we can place detectors there to confirm its position. But particles are small in terms of size, so whatever length of the incident wave we use to make the accurate detection of particle must be smaller than its size. Like smaller the wavelength, precise will be the position of detected particle. but with knowing the precise position of a particle, we have to pay the price while calculating its velocity. So suppose some particle is here and you are willing to make a very precise measurement for its position. So you will use the light, you will shine the light of very smaller wavelength. So you know the relation for energy, h nu, energy of the electromagnetic wave, h nu. Nu here is the frequency of the EM wave and h is Planck's constant. So you can also write it as hc by lambda. C is speed of light and lambda is wavelength. You just use the basic relation. C is lambda nu. So smaller the wavelength of the electromagnetic wave, more will be its energy. Okay. So the the energy is larger for smaller wavelength. So while calculating its precise position, the energy of an incident wave increases. This means that the wave is going to disturb the particle at larger amounts. That will make the calculation of velocity less accurate and vice versa. Like this wave incidents on this particle with very high energy, it will obviously disturb it. So we will get precise position of this particle, but we can't say anything about velocity because it was disturbed by the external system. We can represent this uncertainty mathematically also. So there is this expression sigma x into sigma p greater than equal to h bar upon 2. This is formula for uncertainty principle. So standard deviation in position multiplied with standard deviation in momentum p, product of these two quantities will be always greater than or equal to the h bar upon 2. H bar is reduced Planck constant. Well, this was just basic for the basic explanation for uncertainty principle. If you want to find more insight on this topic, do check out the video made by 3 Blue 1 Brown. He has explained it very well with his awesome visualizations. The link will be in the description. So this is the end of chapter 1, and so far we have learned about what wave functions are, what Schrodinger's equation is, probability theory required for explaining bizarre phenomena in quantum mechanics. You also learn how to normalize wave function, and now in this video we learn about the wave function collapse, various operators, especially the position and momentum operator, the uncertainty principle. This is very rudimental stuff we have covered so far. The next chapter would be mathematically more rigorous, but to make it more simpler, before that we will start with some different topics in different subjects. Like we will start off with classical mechanics, the variational principle, and some topics in mathematics. So keep your eye on that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any doubt, don't hesitate and put down in the comments, and I will get to you soon. Or you can discuss the topic I have taught so far onto my mail that I have mentioned in my description. Do share the video, like it, subscribe to the channel already, and as always, thanks for watching. Happy physicsing.